Pause the music.
Welcome
Yes,
back, ladies and
sir.
gentlemen, to another installment of No Place Like Omaha. I'm your host, JD Wonder, alongside Nick Hendricks and Mikey Love. We have no special guest for today, so it'll just be the three of us.
What are you talking about? We have a special guest. It's us.
Yeah, we're special every week, man. We are
Yeah.
the guests. We are the hosts. We are special. I agree with
Yeah.
Mikey on this.
No.
Yeah. First
Nope.
time we'll agree on anything.
Nope.
Mark it
Facts.
down.
People would be talking
Make
about you
it a
built different. I
day.
am built the same. I am built the same
October.
regardless.
Built like a brick shit
It
house,
is.
baby.
It is written down in No Place Like Homaha pod history on this day, October 17th of 2022. Mike and I finally agree on something.
Yepperoonies, yepperoonies.
Wow.
Round of
That's-
I
applause.
hear
Round of
cheeks
applause for
getting
all.
clapped.
That's just
Confirm.
No, that is
Someone's doing the nasty
No.
while recording the pod. You sick bastard. We're going on the hub, Josh. Let's
Finally,
go.
we did it.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
No
we got
Place
him.
After Dark making its first appearance on the hub. Already know. Monumental day times 2.
So much is happening.
Are you done? Are you
All
done?
right. So for the pod today, our topic is D1 baseball. Shout out them on Twitter. Released kind of poll talking about the top programs in college baseball, and so we were just kind of dive into that and kind of talk about that list, see if we agree, disagree, that kind of stuff.
I never agree.
So you just agreed with Nick, so I don't want to
That's
want
a
kinda-
one-off.
hear it.
That's a one-off.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go grab my phone because
So
forgot it over here.
you go do that because I've got it pulled up here on the website. So
All right.
as this kind of stands, for those of you who don't know how the top 100 is, for all of our listeners out there, so basically how it works is after the college baseball season is done, they kind of get started through it. They come out with the top 100 teams throughout the country, and basically they throw out everything from the 1970s to about the 1990s, and that's just strictly recruiting based, just because the amount of recruits that came through are a little bit more on kind of like a different level of play quality, I would say. And also just the fact of teams now are a lot different than teams back in the 90s, play style wise. The ball travels further and stuff like that. So as it stands now, currently, looking at the website here, the SEC has 13 teams out of all of its 14 teams within the top 100 for conference for just leading that.
For all of baseball,
and that's huge. Yeah, for all of college baseball. And out of that 13 teams, 4 of them are in the top 4. Vanderbilt is number 1. They were number 2, or they were number 2 in 2019. Yeah.
Pause.
Vandy's 1. Arkansas is 2.
This is not.
This
we're
is
not
top
talking all
100.
time. This is talking programs based on around the 2010s. So obviously, if it was based in like the 70s or 80s, whatever it was, it would have been like USC.
Why
They had a
is
dynasty.
why is though if this is 2000 2010, why is Vanderbilt up there?
They've been consistently in the College World Series and they've won.
Like they won some during that 10-year stretch?
Yeah.
They
In the
started
early
becoming
2000s?
a better program.
Oh, not in the early 2000s, but the 2010s.
I was going to say the early 2000s.
They won
we're not talking about
2.
2010 though. We're talking about 2000 to 2010.
It's consistent. It's consistent wins from it. What it looks like here is from the last 10 years. So everything from 2010
to 2020.
Strict. Yes, and so it's strictly out of a recruiting base as well.
I can see.
That's what
being up
that's
there.
what they're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking 2000,
yeah.
2010.
Nope. Yes. So I believed it was too, and then I also took a look at that, and I was like, there would be no way that Vanderbilt consistently has been a team that from
that would have been like LSU,
onward,
Miami.
So I'm glad we have
LSU
the
would have been there.
stereotypical unfactual information coming out. This is good.
Well,
Love
it wouldn't
that.
be a No Place Like Omaha pod without that.
Factual statement.
Facts.
Statement.
But also, this is our first time kind of all looking at this at the same time. So we're learning as we go as well.
It's
But
true.
so to round out the top 4 of the SEC teams, Vanderbilt is number 1. Arkansas is 2. In 2019, they were ranked 3. Back in 2017, they were ranked 13th in the top 100. The SEC also has Mississippi State at 3 after winning a national championship. They've bounced up a lot. And then Florida is ranked 4th. Then you go in the rest of the top 10. Oregon State, the lone Pac-12 leader or Pac-12 team coming in there. Louisville from the ACC is 6. LSU, Ole Miss are 2 more SEC teams. Texas Tech is at 9. And then also Stanford finally wraps that out with another Pac-12 appearance in the top 10. And then throwing it out the rest of the way, I guess we'll do the top. We'll just go through the top 25. I'm not going to do
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to do the top 100. I might just cancel the podcast.
Yeah. No, I can usually do rankings fast, but I'll do the top 25. Texas A&M from the SEC, they're at 11. Texas from the Big 12 is 12. Florida State, 13. North Carolina, 14. Virginia, 15. 16 is NC State. Tennessee is 17. TCU is 18. Oklahoma State is 19. Auburn, 20. UCLA, 21. East Carolina, 23. That is the only that I point this out.
5?
East Carolina is the only non-Power 5 in the top 25 for the top 100. Otherwise, the next one is Southern Miss at 26. Oklahoma rounds out 23. Arizona, 24. Miami, the Big U, is dropped all the way down to 25. I want to see who the last team on this top 100 is.
The one that barely snuck in?
Oh, it's Southeast. It's Southeast Missouri State. Southeast Missouri State is number 100. Kind of going through the list here. So who isn't Alabama, Kentucky? Because it says 14. It says 13 out of 14 schools for the SEC aren't on here.
It's probably Missouri
True.
because they really.
I would probably say so
because
because Georgia is at 36. No.
Well, no, if you're in the SEC, you're usually
Alabama,
competitive
Kentucky
in
is
every
57.
sport. Usually.
Yeah.
I will say Missouri in football, though, when they had Drew Lock, they were decently competitive. When they first moved in, they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. Baseball-wise, I thought they'd be able to be a little bit more competitive. Yeah, I think Missouri is the lone team out in the SEC.
That
South
to me that
Carolina's in
makes
there
sense
after
because
winning a
that's the
national
least
title.
competitive team and just all around usually.
That's true in the SEC. Yeah, they kind of get dummied.
Yeah, Mikey is
But
correct. The Missouri
Stanford
Tigers
and
no longer
Hell
in
yeah,
there.
I'm correct. I am him.
Yeah,
on here. Hold on. So
Who do you think you are?
you are not him.
Yes, I am.
Where did Nebraska just go? I
Up
just
your
saw.
ass.
Damn.
Got him.
No.
Roasted.
Nebraska is 43rd. They're behind Indiana.
But we're in there
immensely though, based on recruiting wise and making a couple of regional and super regional appearances. They jumped all the way from 51 from the last time that this was put out. I guess the next closest team that would have all of its teams in there would be the ACC. They've got 12 out of 14. The Pac-12 is 8 out of 11. Big 12 is 8 of 13. Or the Big 10 is 8 of 13, sorry. The Big 12 has 7 of 9. Kansas and Iowa State would be the only 2 teams that would not be there because Iowa State doesn't have baseball and Kansas plays as a rec league. The Sun Belt Conference is in there, 7 of 14. American, 5 of 8. Big West, 4 of 9. Conference USA is 4 of 8. And then everybody else has at least 1 to 3 appearances. So that's kind of impressive. A team that I would personally think would be kind of farther on the list just based off of their success within the last 5 years especially would be Oklahoma State for me.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma State would be closer up onto that top 10 mark. The amount of talent that they had coming through this year, the amount of talent that they've had over the last 4 years, making a bunch of regional appearances within the last 5. I think it was 4 out of 5 they were in the regionals. Cowboys baseball is proving to be better, and I think that's what the Big 12 has kind of found itself in, besides having Kansas being good at basketball, is now you have a conference that you can match the SEC with personally.
Big 12?
Because in baseball, hell yeah.
Oh. I was like,
I
bro,
personally think
do not compare Big 12 and SEC. I don't know,
Big
I
12
think
is more
besides the
comparable to like
ACC, maybe.
Pac-12.
which we hate, by the way, BT Dubs.
You hate the Pac-12
Mikey
for
does.
no reason.
I
does?
don't.
To be honest, though, dude, talking about Pac-12 teams, though, I don't know how Stanford is number 10 because I feel like they do make appearances and all this kind of stuff, but it's like every time they come here, they don't make a competitive run.
No, I mean,
I would agree with
you got to
that.
think, even though they're not competitive when they come here, they still make it here.
That's what I'm saying, though, is they do
Like,
make
that's
it. But I
why.
would, but that's why I'm saying is like a team like Oklahoma State or some of those should be. I feel like they should be higher.
Right, but this is taken into effect. What years again? Remind me.
2010 to
It's from
2010 to
2010
2020s. Yeah.
onward.
2010 onward. I
Yeah.
don't know how many times has Oklahoma State been here since 2010 though. Like they could be
A
good, yes,
few.
but it's not like
Oklahoma State, I think, has been here at least twice since 2010. Been to Omaha since 2010. I believe it's been twice.
and you look at like Stanford and Vanderbilt and how many times they've
Regional
been here.
appearances, I'm not entirely sure.
Like they could be good.
Mhm.
Oklahoma State probably is better than Stanford, just all around. But Stanford makes it here.
Yeah, that is true.
Whether or not that's because they play in a little bit easier of a conference, so they have little bit of an easier path, or what, but they still make it here regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I
Yeah, I
in
would
my
agree
mind,
that
like
you
I
could
just
say
don't
that.
like I just don't like I it's kind of like the eyewash test. Like I watch, like I see them here and I see them in postseason play. I'm like, they'll make it and stuff, but it's just like I just don't understand how.
Mhm.
Because it's not really like a standout.
So
like,
if we're basing this off of if we're basing this off of 2000, like from 2000 on to now, like just for us specifically to talk about Stanford, and then we'll kind of dive back into more of the 2010 on. And actually, we can still do that here. So for College World Series runner-ups, Stanford was a runner-up in 2000, 2001, 2003. College World Series appearances since 2000 was 2000, 01, 02, 03. So 4 consecutive years in the CWS. 2008, 2021, 2022. NCAA regional appearances. And here's where the biggest factor of that comes into play, because this is how consistent.
Sorry, my penis is stuck in his mouth.
2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2008, 2011, 12, 14, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22. So out of all of those years that the regional has been there, Stanford has at least been to a regional or even hosted a regional.
Yeah, but that's
conference
saying like
champions, or the conference tournament, they were a champion in 2022. Regular season, they were in a 2022 conference Pac-12 champ in 2018. They were.
But the thing that gets me is kind of like what Mikey said is the fact that they're in the Pac-12. So who do they have that
Worst
competes?
conference in the entire.
Would you stop it? Stop it.
Just fact.
I would say actually, which is the Sun Belt?
I would rather be in the Sun Belt than
Old Dominion. Which
Pac-12.
Which conference is Old Dominion in?
Pretty sure it's Conference USA.
So the worst conference.
No.
Okay.
You're just being a hater right now because I'm bagging all over.
Okay,
Pac-12.
but no. So Pac-12 kind of has like a division between like elite teams and average teams. I feel like they're very like hot and cold. Like you always have Oregon State, which is a very competitive team. You have Arizona, who's off again, on again, off again. UCLA, on again, off again. Who else really in that conference that's competitive? Like USC's not. Oregon's not.
Depends on what sport.
In baseball, what is this podcast?
USC can be. Like they could be.
In baseball, yes.
Oregon
also, you can throw Arizona State in the mix, because even
Arizona State,
you can throw into the mix.
But again, like what I'm saying though is they're hot and cold versus having a Stanford, having a Stanford that's consistently, thank you, hot and cold, like in that conference, they are just consistent, then it's fine. But you compare that to like an SEC where they just beat on each other, and you could take most of those teams out of that conference, put them into another conference, and they would be the conference champions. But they sit there and beat on each other all season, and then only a few of them can make it to the College World Series.
Okay, so here's a fun fact. Since we were arguing between Oregon or Oklahoma State and Stanford, so take this into consideration here.
No.
So College World Series runner-up, they have not had a World Series runner-up since 1990. College World Series appearances, they have not had one since 2016. So the Pokes have not been here since 16. NCAA tournament appearances: 01, 04, 06, 07, 08, 09, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all the way up to 22. Oklahoma, and this is kind of the point that I was also making as well. Oklahoma State has become one of the most consistent teams in baseball, just constantly making a regional.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually take a look at the
making
conference titles as
not
well,
hard. Like, granted,
making the tournament or making, yes.
like when I say
I get what you're
hard, I
saying
don't
on that,
mean
yes.
it's not.
For
Like,
Power 5, it's easier than
Yes.
outside
then
of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. But at the same time, though, if you have a team that is consistently, and I will say this though, to make the regional, and this is the one thing that I kind of hate but do not hate at the same time. You have your at-large bids, so you get your teams that are automatically, they have to win and get there. Then you have your at-large bids who have the record to prove that they can be there. You have your top 25 teams that'll probably end up being there regardless. But that's the one thing. I think that if you really want to kind of take a look at this top 100 stat and you actually kind of want to dive down from 2010 onward, you have to take a look at being able to kind of cut out that middleman and say, to where do we kind of draw the line on a regional appearance? In my personal opinion, because if you are having this many teams make the regional, and that's the comment that Mikey just said, how quote unquote easy is it to make the regional? To go through and be in a top 25, if you come out as a top 25 team in the country, you're guaranteed to pretty much have a spot in the regional. You win your conference, you're in the regional. If you're one of the top 16 national seeds, obviously you're hosting. But that's the thing, though. All these non-Power 5 teams have to win a conference or get ranked in the top 25, and maybe they still might not get an at-large bid on that top 25. So I understand where the fact of not making or making a College World Series tournament and a regional tournament is not as high off, but still, if you've been a team that has been this consistent and you've made it pretty much every year since 2006, that's huge. That just shows that your program is growing.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it holds true. Like, if you play in a harder conference, it's like
Well,
having
yeah.
what is it, 13 out of 14 you said? Is a lot. 13 out of 14 for the SEC is a lot more impressive. But
12
then
out of
again,
14 for the ACC as well.
like it's impressive, but it's not at the same time, because it's like you expect those teams to be like to make the tournament and then to go deep.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's impressive that it's impressive of the conference. It does not. And then I guess based off of the ranking, it speaks volume of the program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree.
I have no idea what he's saying
So
right now.
SEC, like I said, 14 to the top 10. The
Oh, there it
Pac-12
is.
is Oregon State, which Oregon State, yes, has won a national championship within the last 4 years, 5 years, right? Yes, 5 years. They went on their run back in 6 and 7, winning back-to-back titles. And then looking at Louisville, hasn't won a College World Series national title in relevant time. They were ranked 5th they only go back one spot.
A robot is talking.
He got the stanky boot.
Did you kick him?
No,
Oh.
there he is.
Can you imagine
That
if
would
you
have been so
actually
funny
did
if I
kick him?
kicked him.
That'd have been so cold. So cold.
What the heck just happened?
Your connection just gave out.
You became a robot. So we were like,
It was
no
like
robots allowed
Sorry.
on the pod.
But taking a look at all these teams, Ole Miss just won a national title and they're ranked 8th this year. Their recruiting will automatically go up, and it has been for the last few years. Texas Tech as well. You look at the team that Texas Tech has been able to put out consistently, making it to a few College World Series within the last 5 to 6 years. I mean, I think if you really kind of want to look at it, the Big 12 is not the powerhouse that they can be when it comes to baseball. Because you take a look at how TCU has been nationally ranked over the years. Oklahoma State has now become nationally ranked. Texas Tech. If Texas A&M was still in the Big 12, you could throw that in there. Oklahoma, who has actually made a run, they were in a Big 12. They were trying to fight for the Big 12 championship this year, and rightfully so. I mean, they're not going to be as good as the SEC, and I don't think.
My boy is going through it.
It's like we got a robot on the pod.
He is struggling. He's been really trying to get through this entire rant.
Keeping out.
He's just getting through this entire rant about it.
But we're about to have one hell of a potty though, because we're not knowing what the fuck he's saying, but he knows.
He's just showing it on our listeners like, what is going on? No, but I agree with you. Like, so basically,
I've been trying to make the argument that the SEC. Yeah,
I know what you're coming from. It's like you're saying
go
that,
for it.
like, just knowing that the SEC does have the talent it has, and all this kind of stuff, but you still have competitive programs around. And I also think that also comes from. Oh, and he got booted again. He is getting absolutely blistered out of the chat. But no, basically saying that also comes with the amount of talent that has come through. So you've seen all these SEC schools, their kids get drafted high. They're going top 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
And so that's getting a lot of other recruits because they want that development as well. So it's like, okay, if it's not just, hey, this team wins national championships. Hey, this team also shells out pros. Right, you look at the Coastal Carolina team, that was like a once in a blue moon kind of thing, to where you had the keys that you needed to win, but not a lot of those guys went on to play. Right, but then you got those people like the 1-2 rotation of Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter when they were at Vanderbilt, both getting drafted early.
Well, see that's why. Like, baseball is one of those things where, like, you don't have to go to the Power Fives to get drafted. So that's one of the good things there. But, like, that's why you'll see a big majority of the Power Fives in that ranking. It's because they have, the money to go out and visit these recruits, or, to house them on special trips and whatnot. Whereas the little ones, like an Old Dominion or like some of the guys that are lower on that ranking, they don't have the funding strictly because of the sport, as well as they have those up and down years, That's why I think it's that much more impressive when you have those lower tiered or like the lower conference like schools up there. So like the Dallas Baptists.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are consistently good year after year. Whether they make it to the tournament or not, they're still very competitive and they make a good run. But I think like that is one of the cool things to focus on. Sure, Power 5's dope. But like,
right.
I don't know.
And just like we said before, You got to go where there's opportunity. So
Yeah,
if
you
you're
got
going
to
to
go
go
where you're
somewhere,
wanted.
exactly. If you're going to go somewhere and you're going to play underneath a guy that's like, this guy's going high level, but you think you can play at the same level he can, then you can find a place to where you're going to start right away and show what you got. But no, I
Yeah.
just think they do a good job, and especially those schools of keeping guys in house. So having guys buy into it and being like, because most of those guys, they're older. They're older guys. It's not like we saw with the Miami team this year. They had a really young team, made a good run, but obviously didn't show the maturity needed to be able to go on and win a national championship. Versus like Ole Miss,
hmm
who had Tim Elko, who was it like a 5th year, 6th year, something like that.
He was a 5th year.
Yeah, so he's out there and he's been a leader on that team and grown up through that program, and he's kept guys around him and like within that program that are older as well as the juniors and seniors that have grown up learning the cueing that they use and all this kind of stuff.
I think a big testament to that factor as well would be taking a look at that NC State team. Throwing it back to last year or the year prior, they were a team that was competing for a national title. They ended up getting hit with the COVID case that knocked them out for that. And then Mississippi State proved that Vanderbilt shouldn't have won with what factor is bullshit. Out of curiosity.
What did you say?
What did you say? You said something bullshit. Did you say
the NC State team getting sent home?
Them getting sent home.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I was gonna say. I was just making sure, but yes, it was. And so, taking a look at that factor, you had the pitching staff that you did for NC State, the offense that was there. There were seniors that returned the same team this year for NC State, and then you add Tommy White in the mix. You add just another group of hitting guys in the mix. Your seniors led that team to become who it was. And NC State fell off a little bit in the middle of the year. Don't get me wrong, but still, that NC State team was a testament to how that leadership could kind of transform. And they started out as hot as they did, and they went through and started keeping their run going and trying to be able to get there. You take another look at like who Josh said, that Coastal Carolina move back in 2016 ended up winning a national title over an Arizona team who was arguably one of the best teams in the country. They were one of the last 2 teams standing, but that Coastal team, like he said, had everything going for it. Watching the regional at Alex Box State, or the Super at Alex Box Stadium, when they had base hit after base hit and just playing small ball, playing it smart, playing it safe, and actually playing the game strategically against a very strong LSU team who under Maneri was huge. And then now you flip it over to, you just won the Super Regional at the toughest stadium to play in college baseball, one of, and now you're flipping it to come to Omaha for the first time in your 3 years of actually being in the NCAA tournament, and you come out here and you shove and you win it all with guys like Kyle Marks, a pitching staff who was not really known throughout the country, but if you take a look at the record, was absolutely filthy.
I don't think the Zoom agreed with him.
He just gets the boot again?
Yes. Filthy. Dead.
Gone. This is. Sit your opinion down, bitch. Oh, he's back. Oh my God, it's a round behind him. What's that? Get him out of there.
I can't wait to go back and watch this. This is going to be too funny. But just getting those small guys to be able to kind of come up in big spots. Teams like Campbell, who consistently have been making regional, I'm looking at them right now as well on the top 100 list. They're 46. Louisiana Tech, who in the last couple of years has been decently good. Throw Gonzaga in the mix. They were hopping all over it as well
our
this
one
year.
Team that we followed?
Dominion.
No. That's
not in there. Iona's not in there.
Dude, come on. They have to be.
They're in the not top 100.
Shut up. Let that be. They deserve to be there too.
With the 5 wins?
Yeah.
What
did he get the boot again? Because where's his opinion?
No, he's gone.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. That Yes, they.
Oh, he's
back.
back.
He's back.
Iona is not on
He's
this.
back.
Yeah, that's absolute horseshit.
That's
He should be.
horseshit.
That is one of the best programs out there, bro.
Let's
And
see
you're
the
gonna exclude them?
No.
Redemption season.
redemption season. Iona revenge season coming soon.
They gotta go.
Got 1.
They gotta go 10-40.
Comes on.
Three.
Turns out they actually come around and make the national tournament this year. They come in with like a 40-2 record.
Dude, I would have a heyday.
Redemption season. Calling it right now. Way too early. Top 25.
Oh my gosh.
Iona.
I can't wait.
Way too early. Top 20.
I can't wait
Iona.
until we get.
They won, I think, 6
I can't wait
games.
till I get Wi-Fi in here because it's.
I can't wait either.
Stanky boot.
Did he get it? Did he actually get booted?
Yes. Oh man.
That's awesome.
on
Good
that
things we
note,
love.
we're gonna go ahead and close up the podcast then, ending on the Iona Gales revenge season. So t-shirts coming out soon for that. Since you're already here at the No Place Like Homaha channel, please like and subscribe.
Oh,
Leave
we're
comments
actually
for
ended. Oh. Oh.
Yes. Nick keeps getting the stanky boot, so we might as well give the fans a stanky boot now and just call it.
If the fans.
Oh, Lord.
Anyways, please like and subscribe.
fantastic.
Comment again what you want us to talk about, what you want to see on our channel.
Let us know
You're
if we should
also
actually
out-
fuck around and periodically give Nick the stanky boot as we do this pod anymore.
I will have Wi-Fi.
It's
about
gone.
Did he actually get booted again?
But okay. Again, shout out Cronio Media.
Who
Putting
does
us out
not get booted?
on
They are a
Spotify
partner.
and Apple Podcasts. Shout out Flintstone Gummies.
Yes.
They will never get booted. They will boot the
coronavirus
COVID-19, yes,
from your
right out of
body.
your system. Yep, they'll give your sickness the stanky boot.
Yes, they will.
All right. Well, that's all I got. All we got. So
I have no extravagant cures for you this week. Still in research.
in the progress. Okay.
Yeah, we're in.
You might want to
trial phases
cure. You might want to
currently.
cure Nick's
Nick's
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Yeah,
Yes.
we can. That shit's gone.
Yes.
There is no cure.
Dirty. That did
That
my
shit
voice
is-
so nasty.
That shit is what I would call trash.
He was getting into it, and then the meeting was just like, nah.
We are gonna give this bitch this thank you.
Bye.
Well, it's been fun. It's been real. It has not been.
It has not. Yeah.
All right.
It's not. Yeah, it's been
We
tough.
will catch you later again. We should be, and Nick got booted again. Hopefully getting more interviews out soon. But again,
Do
stay
not get
tuned.
booted mid. Don't get booted mid.
Yes, if we boot them, it'll be because they say something dumb.
Yeah, because
yeah. Right. All right. Well, we'll catch you next week. Or the
Hospital
week
50
after.
bite. Yeah.